Turn 107. So he popped out 4 ships, killed some things with, killed 3 of my ships. He's also brought some troops over here. I should have definitely walled this off. I didn't. Oh well. They were able to freely leave building walls here. I rushed them. Who knows? I can take this city if I see invasion here, but I'm not going to this turn. I want to instead bring up more troops. So just going to quickly run through all the turns and then clear the Gauls out, etc. And then try to get basically want to invade with really overwhelming force once I get in position. So moving things around, there's going to be a little bit cute play here with using a fire ship to bump that so I can attack. It probably wasn't really necessary, but you can attack with anchored ships, so that was kind of nice. And then just sort of bringing these swordsmen up to the coast so that they can move over. Hopefully he won't have a lot more ships coming out. So we will see. Probably might lose 1 or 2 of these boats to this. Definitely feel like I'm going to lose 1 of these boats at least. But he's not going to be able to escape with that boat. It does not have maneuvers, so it can't get out. So that's good. And then I should be able to bring basically huge 2 waves of swordsmen over with Kushites following, and then just sort of take this city and then march my way south. So that's what I'm thinking. Evokes turn 108. Apologies for a bit of a janky recording here. I'm actually narrating over recording because my mic was muted when I recorded and I submitted the turn and didn't realize it. I lost 2 Duromons to his ranged units and that 1 last Duromon I couldn't finish off. He's still got a lot of units here in the middle that he's fortifying. I don't care. I'm going to go around. There's walls that are basically 1 year away on that city there. So I'm going to actually go ahead and attack now because I don't want the walls to finish. It'll make the city much harder to take. So I'm just going to go ahead and get every unit across there and take advantage of that. There, and then of course we're going to kill as many units as we can here, killing that swordsman. And then I think we're going to kill the chariot as well. Can't quite finish it, but the cleave does it. And then we're good. Then we're going to pull everything else over here so that we can set up a bunch more units ready to attack when we got a chance, and then pull as many things close as well as we can. That one's just over there. We're going to get a cataphract out of Yamu and probably rush to Kree with Waset. With civics, I think we actually want that. You can see it there. And we actually can buy the cataphract in Yamu with Holy War, which is really nice. So, because that allows us to rush units with gold, as you can see me narrating here. It's definitely worth the science hit right now. And that cataphract next turn, he still, of course, has pikemen, but there's not that many pikemen, and getting a route chain is going to be super valuable for us. So we've got a bunch of units ready to land. He doesn't have that many units there. Again, he's kind of has his middle units stranded, which is really awkward for him, but really great for me. 1 year on Museum, 3 years in Circus Maximus. We might actually let Circus Maximus finish, then take the city. Potentially, if we can kill these units. Only see 1 pike here, so if we can kill the pike, then our surprise cataphract will have free reign. And it looks like he's not expecting route chains at all right now, unless he noticed I took Holy War. So I think that's pretty much it for this turn, and we'll see how he responds. He doesn't have that many units to respond with, because again, they're largely stranded. So that's about it for this turn.
Hello, so it's turn 108. Alcaras just went on the attack with a pack of his swords and a few Kushites. Took my city of Para, as I feared. Rushing a wall here incited him to attack. I don't know if he planned to attack anywhere or not, of course. There's quite a fallacy with that. The more you wait to do something, the more probable it becomes, and then you infer causality that doesn't exist. So I tried a few things. I played my turn already, and my troops were positioned mostly along the coast around here, and decided to retreat to Samarkand. You have the Circus Maximus set to finish in 2 turns here, and so I decided to try to protect it. I think if he burns everything towards it, maybe he can either burn the wonder or try to take the city. The city is undefended, there's no walls here, but I'll finish a swordsman the end of the turn. I'm playing second, as Alcaras is the host, so I should have a sword sitting on my city when it comes up. So it's not as defenseless as it looks. I've decided to bring my troops here. Of course, my main issue is that the core of my army is here, in Comis, where it was positioned to threaten the core of Alcaras, and currently cut off. But my second miner will finish end of the turn, so from next turn on I will be able to ferry troops back to the mainland to defend and counter-attack. So in particular my 2 cataphract archers here and some well-promoted longbowmen would come in handy, as well as spikes when Kushites inevitably follow behind the swords. I'm assuming he's still staging swords around here. I don't really know, but he has continuous naval pathing, and all the swords in Ipu disappeared. So he's reached cataphracts, very notable as well. So there's 2 in progress here. He will have 1 next turn, so I can expect some routing, which is why I positioned my pike on top of the incomplete Circus Maximus, because probably can still reach with the cataphracts from Yamu across the sea and attack around here with double force march. That's probably enough. So I decided that I wanted more troops to be able to counter-strike effectively, so I had only a single sword on hand that could reach with a double fatigue force march this turn, and I will want more, and a single pike. Of course, as I move troops away from here, I will be vulnerable to an attack, which you will doubtless take note of. I can move away 3 units without, because I have 3 units back plus walker next turn, so I can move 4 units actually away from Comis without allowing a disembarkment. So I might do that. I'll probably want, I'd say 2 longbows on my 2 cataphracts. I'd say maybe a pike instead, something like that. We'll see. We'll see what I do. These tiles are not strictly necessary because it cannot disembark on here. So that's a single one, but a unit can be a big difference. I still have a few troops positioned around here. I diverted to stirrups. I just got hydraulics, so I can start ballistas. I'm emphasizing swords because I need to be able to stand on the defense, not only attack. So I ordered to start a few ballistas, but I'm mostly still on swords. So I'll have 2 more that I rushed next turn, but I still have additional units in the queue as well that will come up. No rush in Persia. Ballista ordered in Nishapur, which I should be able to rush next turn with civics. So we'll see about that. Alcaras is pushing decrease after decrease in Wasat, which makes sense, unfortunately. Cannot really do the same in Persia. I need my city to be producing military units. I'm a bit strapped for training. I'm going for rallying troops. Will take 2 turns, but still should be good in the end. If I can reach up to there. So I know I have to defend my core. It would be much better for me to fight around here than to fight around here, because there's a lot less forest to protect against my range heavy army, and yeah, I can make use of the urban tiles as well. And I don't think my troops here will be able to reach around the para without with only double force march, and I am strapped for training to get many force march. I will have 2 next turn only. So but I'm quite confident they can reach through naval to around Samarkand. So the best thing would be for him to move in and kill a few things, but not quite get my wonder or my city, of course, which I don't hope for. I expect he will either move in with crushing force or not move in. but one can hope. So so that's where it's at. So I have to retake this city in under 3 turns. As I'm the original owner, I would capture it in a single turn myself. But I need an attack to be decisive. I could kill 3-4 units, but I would have ended up super exposed and lose everything I used to attack with. So I reluctantly opted to go for a defensive play. I'm not sure how solid it is, because of course it's also open ground for me. So this Kushite cavalry is quite strong here. Kushite cavalry don't rout. That's my only chance here. But of course they could decide to flank my cataphract archers, go for that, and all that jazz. Hopefully I can punish it with Pike coming back from commis next turn, if it comes to that. I'm not sure how much visibility he has on commis, by which I mean if he has an agent here and can see everything. He can certainly see all my troops from his ships, but I hope the minor play, which will grab all those 5 tiles directly, and then with border collapse it will get this one, fill in this one as well, because it will be surrounded by those, and more importantly, because I own the coast, I'll get those tiles and collapse the borders with Aspadana as well, which will allow my troop to move back and forth even without ships. So that's where I stand, and yeah, next turn will be we'll have some heat, I think. I'm full friendly on my families, just reached friendly with the riders this turn. We'll have to see how things evolved. Completed museum as well, so my science, my natural science generation, I think I did only a single inquiry in the entire game, keeps picking up. Obviously, since he reached barding, Alcaras doesn't care anymore about science at all, which could already be inferred by the fact that he adopted, let me see, so he's stronger as well, I should say, Holy War and autarky, so that's minus 48 science in itself from upkeep. Let's be clear, when I reach barding myself, I will do the same. Autarky I didn't pick. I think in my case it might be better to use Trade League for the moment. When I reach Cataphract that will change, of course, but I'm not there yet. So so yeah, that's where we are. In a very fragile situation. I'm counting. I think I can definitely hold my own on land. My main problem is that my forces are split. I think most of the strength advantage of Alcaraz is in the sea. He probably has, let's count, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Dromons that I can see directly, and I can guess there are probably at least one more here and one more here to make sure he can ferry all his troops from the peninsula to Apara and from Iskor to the front. So yeah, that's where we stand. Alright, see you soon.
Turn 109. No Legs has backed off a bit, and also upgraded a bunch of stuff to Longbowman. So I think what I'm going to do is just continue bringing everything over, see if I can get a kill, especially on this pikeman, which I don't want alive. I don't think, I tried mathing it out, I don't see a way to get this longbowman, and this pikeman. My cataphract is not quite in range either. And all these troops are stranded. I should have anchored last turn and set stuff up so that I could easily have water movement. That was probably a mistake. Even a single anchor would have helped a lot. But nonetheless, we'll run through it, setting up anchors, and then bringing as many things over as we can. Continuing to rally troops with my leader. I think I do end up using a pacify on the riders because they're very close. I forgot that. I don't know. We'll see. It's been I've replayed this with undo quite a bit here. Basically moving over everything, and yeah, I don't have that pacify on the riders, so annoyingly gonna have to undo here a bit to find that pacify. Yeah, we definitely want to pacify the riders, and then probably we'll move that closer to the shore so that I can bring that over more easily. Don't really care about that respawn. This will be interesting. Also have steel tech running, and then I'm just gonna have to redo all these cities. Food is actually the most dire at the moment, so we're actually gonna grab some of these. Just all here. Ore is always great. Probably going to need actually decent in mine. So can't really hurt pumping up that mine, I guess. Actually want food here. All right, I think that's it. We've got a lot of units there. We have 2 more cataphracts on the way. Might actually want to swap to Kushites because I don't have that many ranged units. He has quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially these units, these cities could all be producing more ranged units. And he does have a route with this. Hopefully, my hope is he will not be able to kill my very precious Kushites, because they are what are going to enable amazing route chains from this dude as he makes his way over. But we will see. So leaving this up deliberately so I can potentially take the city. Obviously, if it gets in my way, I will kill the worker. But if not, I will just let it finish. I believe there's really no benefit to it finishing. New mounted units start with Swift as long as he controls it. And then 10 XP. So not that big a deal. I don't see that many mounted units. So we do have overwhelming number advantages here. So the hope is that will enable us to crush. We will take some losses, but killing that pike is actually super huge because it prevents a lot of issues. Surprised he doesn't have anything in the city. So because that could be annoying. But as you can see, these archers, because longbowmen, warden, this is all going to be very, very painful. So probably going to lose a bunch. Might even lose that, depending on how aggressively he wants to go after it. Oh, this is going to be very, very hard. Very, very hard to kill. So again, if he wants to come out and like put units here to kill, I am very happy to oblige and fight there. I'm not entirely sure what I expect him to do. Probably a counter attack. I don't know how much further he can back up, and he can't really afford to lose this city. Yeah, and now I have complete, and I can just go around once this finishes and go straight for his capital or something. Yeah, so we will see how he responds. Probably could have optimized this turn a bit more, but don't really want to spend an hour doing so, and I feel like I have a pretty significant number advantage at this point, so we'll see how it goes.
Turn 109, so recording, because there was a lot of tactical combat, and quite an eventful turn overall. So I already played it. I actually played it like 3 times. I spent a lot of time considering and trying different things. Well, not quite trying different things. Going at it haphazardly and then thinking about it a little bit more. So I'll reroll the turn and explain what happened. Comment on the actions I already committed on. All right, so let's get back to the start. Alcaras moved in with his troops, with quite a bit of strength against Samarkand and the troops I had stationed there. He didn't quite cancel the Circus Maximus, thankfully. I didn't quite take the city. So I had multiple events and the option to go for martial code, so obviously I'm going for Barding. He's up there himself. Can check that he's making cataphracts in Utrepid and quiche, and there's one that completed last turn that's not in my vision, so I can only imagine that it's en route. And I have quite a blob of units here, including some tough ones with Commander, Eagle Eye, Marksman, Saddleborn, Horsebane, Kushite Cavalry here. A tough one. A lot of swords, which I still have trouble dealing with because I have few swords myself. I produced one in Samarkand last turn and one in Proftasia this turn. And I'm not sure the events will work with undo redo, so I'm just clicking and showing what I did and explaining. So I got this one, cultural event in Katura, which gives me the opportunity to become a zealot and gain a priest, to become a builder and gain science, or to pick orders. Originally I picked orders, but actually, let me show you. Actually, I only have training for 2 force marches, and my troops can barely reach the theater of operation, meaning that I can barely bring 4 or 5 units, and most of my army, the bulk of it, is still around here. I collapsed my borders together as planned, but I'm still a bit short on time. So actually I picked Zealot. I became a Zealot with these events. That was my choice. I have this one, Virtuous Reformers, which is awesome. -1 discontent level everywhere is incredible, so I sold a lot of stone to pick it. I think 500 stone, something like that. And picked research, obviously I went for martial code. So going from a scholar to a zealot, I'm losing significant wisdom actually. The multiplier applied by my queen in Persia is enormous in itself. And I have made, I built archives in most of my cities for the +3 total science, of which 2/3 come from having a scholar leader. So I will be losing on that. So I think the choices of these events are among my first choices. So yeah, you can see my science dipping from 246 to 197. Combine effects, Virtuous Reformer, maybe bring some back. I'm selling stone at the moment. It will bring some back because I get less discontent penalties in my cities for generating science, and most of my science is still coming from cities. Also, governor multipliers are quite significant. And so to the combat. So I won't detail every single action because I don't remember everything I did, but a lot of it was about maximizing flanking bonuses and all that. So let me see. So I'm doing some bit of swapperoos to save on fatigue points on some of my units, bringing my best longbows around, bringing this cataphract archers who came from here. It's highest strength 1, a hero, led by a hero. And so it starts. So the swordman recently produced in Proftasia comes to provide a flanking bonus. And I route, as you might guess, my second force march was spent on this longbowman, who was a Highlander, and I wanted to position on this hill. This is all-out attack. I gave barely any consideration to defense because I have to deal with the strike force Alcaras has landed. Even if he has a lot more, he's been stronger for a few turns. Well, since yeah, I think for 5 or 6 turns, as he was rushing, as he converted his economy to a military build-up, essentially swordsmen and no cataphracts. So I'll be routing through some of these units. This guy is positioned here to provide the flanking bonus, but I don't think I attack with him. My general gained 2 level on this unit, I think, this turn. My longbowmen are awesomely promoted. I managed to grab quite a few Eagle Eye and Marksman promotions along the years, so I'm making good use of that. Oh, I lost units during the interturn, Cataphract Archer, Pikeman, and the Longbowman, which was mostly expected. To note, my swordsmen are particularly valuable on defense, because they will resist attacks from alcaras swords much better than longbows. And my Cataphract Archers are also valuable on the defense, actually, because at least they deny the plus 50% melee combat bonus from swords. So that's why I'm moving a sword, even if it's not the most damaging unit, on top of my unfinished wonder. I could pick a promotion directly, because I have 2 elder officers in Samarkand, and my queen also is no, equestrian only. Okay, I don't have a bonus for infantry unit experience. And I keep setting up and routing through those guys. So that's most of my tactical turn. Second level. And I used the rest of my my orders to. So Alcaraz also moved in with his Dromons, able to reach and disembark up to here now. So I moved additional units. Actually repatriated a pikeman. Not ideal, especially to deal with swords, but I guess I will need a pike. Ideally more to handle his cataphract next turn, or potential Kushite cavalries. There are probably still quite a few around. I can only guess he's probably staging troops here. There are tribals, well, they're not very significant anymore, standing here. There's no troops anymore around here, bearing like a sentinel marauder here, and that's about it. So the rest of my turn, I'm stuffing the borders with walkers to prevent disembarking directly in my backline. I'm quite vulnerable here, but at least these swords don't get the full bonus they could get from attacking here. This is a tactician, so it's a bit painful to attack, and he still can't heal around here, so it's a bit hard to go fully defensive. We'll see if he commits or what happens. I attacked this idiot because it was conveniently flanked by my previous moves. Can still do some damage. It's mostly unpleasant because of the zone of control it's exerting. And I think my final order was spent on moving this longbow, and then I picked my builds in cities. I think, yeah, this is my full turn, so I might still change that. I'm not sure about going for a wall. This city is obviously very vulnerable now. I fully expect he has plenty of troops here that he could choose to attack with at Komish, but it did its job. Well, it failed at being an effective staging ground to attack, but at least I could repatriate most of the troops that were there. My queen is still vigilant, so I get a minor defense bonus on my cities, which, well, might well prove not to be enough. But at least the situation directly around here is looking a lot better. It's back to similar. I will probably counterattack and get the upper hand back. But it should not be trivial, hopefully, to kill everything and cancel my wonders. That's definitely a risk. All in all, I think I would take the cancellation of my wonder to be able to wipe more of his army. I'm not sure if he'll go for it. He can probably do it. He will have to kill this guy to access the sword with more units, or be able to set up a route. One thing I'm surprised about, so I'll try to remember to ask alcaras about that, is that there are a lot of mercenaries in his army. At least 3 here. Maybe there was an additional one. There's another one here. Yeah, so that's a bit strange, or surprising, anyway, unexpected. All his families seems to be friendly. This looks wrong. Bonus from friendly and pleased, both applying. This one is only friendly. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there. Apparently all his riders unit have that. Do mine do? It's only friendly. Right, that's potential bug. I'll have a look at that. And so that's it. So that will be my turn for turn 109. And as you can see, we are fighting with significant intensity now. I would love to deal with these Dromons, at least diminish and all the others on it. I rushed a Ballista also this turn with Civics, which will help deal with the Sea of Swords is sending my way. My longbows have proved a lot more effective on this open ground than around here, as was to be expected as well. I'm hoping that he won't be able to inflict massive, well, crashing damage next turn. I'll probably lose quite a few units. Unfortunately, if he moves back to Para, I'm not sure I can take back the city next turn, and I would really like to, because that's before I captures it, and it gets hit points, and it gets harder, essentially. Because my mobility is more severely restricted, now that I don't own the coast anymore here, obviously. And I would be vulnerable to a counterattack if I move away from the coast here. So that actually would probably be a most unpleasant outcome. Well, if I lose my city and my wonder, of course, that's worst. But maybe I can hold beyond that. I'm letting this longbowman finish naturally next turn. Although I'm tempted to go for other things, but that's what we are going for this turn. I didn't rush anything else because I don't have the orders to do it with orders, and I didn't have the civics to do it multiple times with civics. I still get a new sword. I've gone for a convoy. I have a moat in Katsura. I have nothing really. I don't have strong feelings about him attacking Katsura. He would essentially, I think, waste time by doing that. And yeah, I'm not sure if I will convert. Barca will finish a Cataphract Archer naturally as well next turn. I put a few more ballistas in protection, in Gordium and Artaquana. They are much more iron efficient, especially with 25% rebate on ranged units by Persia. So we'll see how things go. Obviously, cataphracts coming to the field will change things, not for the best, but well, for me, because I'm still quite a ways away. But we'll see what we can get. We should get our science next turn, I think. Yes, looks like it. And yeah, that's it. So I'm mostly not sure if I want a wall or if I want to start a military unit in Komish. I think walls and moats and all that are becoming much better, but the city isn't especially efficient at making a wall. It's, well, a ballista wouldn't be very great here, so if I lose the ability, I mean, alcaras can attack and take Aspadana to cut my line whenever he wants. So I'm not sure how much units here are actually worse regarding the larger conflict. But this part of the coast is for sure an asset if I can keep it. Hopefully, cannot hold Panran and destroy my army and take this city and cut this one. But we'll see. He still has a very strong naval domination. He can still inflict quite a bit of damage with his, well, accessory damage, but still damage with his Dromons if he wishes to do so. That's why I prioritized the single amphibious Dromons I saw last turn, which was thankfully on the coast. And yeah, that's it. That's it, sorry. See you soon.
Turn 110. So a bit of a tactical turn here. Looks like, as far as I can tell, because this miner finished, that pushed these borders, which let him link up here and use water movement to get all the way around here, and that's how I lost a heck of a lot more units than I expected. Not great, but fortunately that means I can go kill the remainder of these units here. Should be able to kill at least 3 of the units here, and then I can position boats here to cut off that water movement. At the same time, I'm at 44 out of 63. Can start getting some wonders up and running. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Basically relocate, start some wonders. Going to get that miner because my family's opinion needs some love. Definitely need that salt. Haven't found the other salt either. Not sure where it is. Might just be one. Going to move this one here to hold that site there, just so I can have that. And then pulling units around basically here. Scouting a little bit, positioning these things, cutting off that city, so they can't get back. Attacking this city, attacking that. Just trying to conserve units, get everyone back out. Not going to be able to rescue this guy here. This city's going to fall, don't care. Not even going to take it. And then just sort of pulling back here and killing these units. I didn't see a practical way to take this city, so I'll take it next turn. Would have been nice to get rid of the Sentinel bonus for him, but really can't. So we'll attack, kill it with a boat, move things around, get everyone back. Definitely didn't anticipate the starting a citadel there, starting a lighthouse here, great lighthouse, moving that so I can get the horses next turn for an extra order. And so I've got a bunch of wonders started, 4 wonders, so that's 8 points. Ishtar will also give me a bunch of culture, although I don't have that many cities that are weak. Still, it'll help with the culture race. Expect him to probably take a wonder, but I've gotten all the wonders I care about, really. And next turn should be able to use my superior economy to start some more wonders. Really actually gated by civics more than anything else right now. So, yeah, at the same time producing military here. I can go get professional army and volunteers, should I so desire. Don't really feel I need to. It's not going to give me that much, and I don't have treasuries for that. Volunteers would let me at least rush out 2 swords here, maybe a sword here, maybe a sword here. It doesn't seem worth it right now. Going to try to clean this up, take this city, and then be able to fight here, or attack here. Eventually we'll want to position boats here. I just didn't want to now because I feel like all these units can come over, but they're not going to be able to take out those boats. And even if they did, they wouldn't be able to take out these boats. I don't see any boats from him. He'd need a bunch of boats to be able to break through this. And at this point, yeah. So he's basically sacked these units here. I've got my cataphract ready to go here. We will be back. We're going to keep the pressure basically and put him on a clock with wonders ticking. Really regret not stopping Circus Maximus at this point. I didn't expect that to. That was stupid of me not finishing that last turn. Sort of overconfidence that I thought I had his forces bottled up nicely, but I didn't. So what can you do? Losing 8 units definitely hurts, especially 3 highly promoted Kushites. Probably going to swap to Kushite here. Basically need some more ranged units up and running. So Cataphracts might have been too much. We're going to go for Pikemen now to deal with his Cataphract archers and to preclude any Cataphracts on his part. See what his laws are. It's actually really hard right now. The tooltip is just not working well at all. He's got a Zealot, which also helps with his movement, and Equestrian, and Vigilant. So I can't quite get this law tooltip to show up. So I'm at 12 laws. He's at 10, but I can't see what his 10 are right now. So, which is really annoying. So there we go. He has professional army, orthodoxy, legal code. Importantly, he does not have holy war. So that means he's pretty far away from Cataphracts, or is just not showing Cataphracts at this point. So some units here, expecting him to take the city back really, and I should have a turn of breathing room, I think. He might kill my scout, which would be unfortunate. Actually gonna, I don't want that scout to die. It will very much die. Gonna buy an order to move the scout out of range. Yeah. That scout will not be able to get hit now, so by anything, I think. Even with the extra range longbow, that scout is fine there. All right, sucks to buy an order, but I don't want to roll back the entire turn to do that, and I have a rally troops coming up next turn anyway. Need to fix my family opinion here. Really not sure where in the world there's incense on this map. As far as I can tell, it's not here. So I don't know where the incense is on this map. There is some salt here, so I should actually grab that second salt. I'm not sure how I'm going to settle that city. Settle middle city for second salt. That will help a lot with Sage's rep. And then where the heck is incense, I can't tell you right now. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for this turn. Disappointing that he was able to link, but just great play from his part. I still have C movement. Definitely want to capture some of these cities and heal up some of my dudes. Might actually pull some units back. But this should help quite a bit in terms of I'll be able to take this city and kill these units and take these two cities. So, and his ruler is getting on in years, and his heir, Zealot, also helps with that movement. His heir is a scholar. So, yeah, just I saw that minor, I didn't quite realize what it meant. And, yeah. So, maybe there's incense down here. I don't know. Really curious where the incense is on this map. Yeah, we've got second salt there, which is great. But don't see any incense anywhere. Sometimes easier to see on the opponent's side of the map because there's less things that it shows up for. But yeah, getting lighthouse. Also to prevent his hunters from getting that lighthouse. Yeah, all right, well, we'll see here. I have control of the sea. It's going to be very hard for him to attack. And I've got great production here. So let's go ahead and send this one back. Turn 110, this time with a situation report. So, yeah, a lot has changed. You've seen some of these narrated turns probably from both perspectives. My sea invasion went super cool. And then, of course, he managed to use water movement, chain all his units back. I didn't see that as a possibility and did not position my boats to block it, which is my failing, but also just hats off to No Legs for the great tactical play. That's what you want to see in this game, and very, very impressive. Could not rescue this guy in the retreat. He's got a lot more units than I'd like. I am ahead, going for basically trying to get to point victory, 63 points. It's now a race. I should be able to deny these two cities as well. He's going to recapture that one. It's going to be challenging for him to take this one, and this one also going to be challenging for him to take. And likewise here, I don't think he can come and kill this. Would be a lot of force marching, I think. Maybe that would actually be devastating if he force marched there, but pretty sure it's just not quite in range, thanks to the double fatigue force march, and I've got units coming out there. So, and most of his army is anyway deep into his empire here. Not blocking Circus Maximus definitely hurts, but what can you do? We are going for Bodkin Arrow right now. Ambitions, haven't seen any good ones, so haven't taken them right now. Succession, we have an Orator as an heir, which is great. So potentially we'll definitely take her, unless I manage to get this one as an Orator or something, and have a longer reign. Extravagant is kind of shit, but what can you do? Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the reason she hates my guts right now. So definitely need to fix my opinion with these guys, which is why I'm going for that minor. And then the second one here, eventually at some point, we'll need to build a settler somewhere, not sure where. So tech tree, let's catch up what happened last turn. Or I guess you've seen some of this narrated. So we discovered stirrups on 102, discovered martial code, discovered barding, started all these wonders, discovered manor, started 4 wonders. Our sea invasion didn't quite work. So tech tree wise, we're really just going for infantry square now, as the last piece of the puzzle. We'll see if we can grab there. Law wise, we have 12 laws. We can pick up volunteers or professional army whenever we like. Not really sure that either of them is really worth it. Volunteers will just get me a couple rushed units. I don't really have a lot of cities with a lot of citizens because I've been building specialists everywhere, so it's kind of disappointing for that. So not really worth doing because I've been running kind of a specialist economy. Wonders, I started 4 wonders last turn: Pantheon, Colossus, Lighthouse, and Ishtar, trying to go for points, lock up all the wonders, and force him to come to me, since obviously my attempt to go to him did not work because he broke out here. Should be able to take these 2 cities, though. Feeling pretty solid about that. Cities by training, 46, 41, 40. No real 4th city production, so it's just these. And yeah, I don't feel threatened here. I don't think he can get too many units over here in time to stop anything. And again, I will have units coming out here. So sources of science, 239, largely just running off that beautiful cleric science. Family opinion, definitely need to fix riders and sages, especially riders because they are the majority of my military. It's sages because they are the majority of my boats. He can still challenge. Boat-wise, I do have I'm down to 13 ships. So if he produces a bunch of ships all of a sudden, I could be in trouble, potentially. So I don't anticipate that because his wood supplies, I think, are pretty constrained at this point. Graph-wise, military score, you can see the huge hit here. Losing all those 8 units that turn definitely was a big dip. That's part of the reason I'm pulling back. But all in all, we are zooming up. Would really be curious to see what his perspective there looks like. Orders, we're at 84 orders, largely because we've stopped pretty much all our worker development almost entirely. Money kind of all over the place. Science, compared to turn 100, we are at 238. Part of that is because we are using some upkeep on Holy War and Autarky. So stat-wise, we've lost 21 units, produced 39, primarily swordsmen and dromons. We've got a bunch of improvements and a bunch of specialists here. I think we've got 6 elder officers, 4 apprentice officers, 2 elder monks. So, and 255 improvements. So feeling pretty good from an econ perspective. Don't feel like I really need too many more units. Econ-wise, relative strength, he is weaker. Or was weaker this turn. He's similar, so that's disturbing. I guess he produced some units on his turn, so not sure where exactly, but we will see. I guess one popped out here, perhaps. Yeah, out of range there. So good thing I moved that scout. He's got some ballista, which is so yeah. So he's up to similar, but he's dancing on the edge of similar and weaker. Should be able to clean this up and get some units connecting back over. And importantly, I've got wonders in flight, putting him very much on a clock. And I'm going to continue pushing out wonders while getting more units out. We'll think about where we want to attack. Definitely want to properly position boats to break up some of his water movement, although of course he can just go around. So we need to figure out where I can best cut off his water movement. He's going to probably retake it this turn here. And his ruler is great, minus the fountainhead. So vigilant also hurts a little bit there, and then it gives a little bit of city defense. So, and that zealot definitely helped moving all those forces around. So yeah, but still feeling mostly okay. Every time I say that, the next turn is kind of like, whoa. So we'll see what No Legs does. This is definitely an interesting and challenging game, and excited to be playing it so far. Every order is going to help at this point. And honestly, I would not mind swapping for an order at this point because I need orders so badly, especially with being able to rush out units with orders as well, if need be, and need to heal some of these boats up. So should be able to take this city, maybe not this turn, but next turn or something. And this one should be able to clean up these units and then figure out what's going on here. Control of the sea definitely gives me a huge advantage. It's going to be a challenge for him to get to me because he's going to have to walk over some pretty gnarly terrain here. And of course, fighting on my side is going to help. And I can, of course, pull units here pretty easily. So we will see. See you in 10 turns or sooner if we do a tactical update. Not sure I'll be doing tactical updates, but maybe No Legs will. We'll see. Right now I'm kind of focused on that point victory, path to point victory.
So this is a post-turn record, so turn 112. So I think I forgot, it's been a long time between turns lately because of traveling and other issues. But essentially I pushed back, alcaras pushed in towards Samarkand, and I managed to inflict some damage, and I retreated. And after retreating, it took both of my cities in Aspadna and Komis, because he has total naval navigation. So I threatened, after I took Komis, his core. So I repatriated a lot of his troops toward his core cities, and quite a few of his boats, quite a few are hurt actually. And I had a bit of a decision to take. I could either have attacked and took Komis, but with no way to keep it, or took Ipu as well, which would have inflicted some more damage because it would have cancelled the units in protection, the Wonder in Kiss. But I opted to come back to take back my my city, which will be somewhat defended and pleasant to take because it's very heavy on melee. So hitting the cataphracts will damage every unit. So he can do it, goes for my unit, but that would be a bit costly. We'll see if he opts to do so. And I will have 3 Drummonds next turn, which I hope I'll be able to use to retake Aspadana. These 3 units are stranded in the meantime, so that's good for me. I won't be able to take it in one go next turn because the city will still be capturing with 1 turn, and I will need at least 1 to anchor a ship. So I will have to see what I do with my Drummonds, possibly hunting this scout and maybe some of Alcaraz Navy that I damaged, which I suspect should be hiding somewhere in the north because I don't see that many ships around these cities. I still have agents and quite a bit of visibility around Islands, and still scouts around anyway. So we'll have to see about that. I'm on the way to boarding in 7 turns, probably faster than that because I'll get some stolen research. So I'll be able to equalize there. Alcaraz doesn't have, to my knowledge, an overwhelming amount of cataphracts yet. I see 3, there's possibly 1 or 2 more. But yeah, we'll have to see. Given the price of food and iron, I don't expect that he'll have huge reserves, and yeah, it will have to be cataphracts or swords and not everything at once. Hopefully, ballistas. I'll have a few more coming online relatively soon. We'll be able to help. Yes, a ballista in 2 turns here. One's done here. Another ballista in 2 turns here. And maybe I have 1 in the back. Yeah, 1 will come out. I have quite a few more troops that I cannot fully use because I've been using a lot of force march and all that to try to make good use of the mobility, because a lot of my forces are mounted compared to eastwards. We can move very fast over water, but not as much inland. So I'll see if I can keep back the city. That will depend on his reaction next turn. And if these troops remain stranded, a ballista there would do wonder. So if I can disembark troops, I think I should be able to retake the city relatively quickly, and that would be good. Any troops I can damage on his side would be good until I can reach Barding. My cities are better fortified, with the exception of Para that he left back, which has no walls. But this one will have a wall, so even if it's a very minor roadblock, it will still need some doing to take. This one has moats, I think, now, yes, not towers, but moats. And my core is still decently defended in units, and it will need to stretch quite a few more Dromons to get there. I don't see any anchoring range around here, so clearly he's focusing on the middle ground in the city of Comis and cutting my naval reinforcement in Aspadana. So we'll see how that goes. And that's it for now. I still have range if I'm force marching to inflict quite a bit of damage on his cities. There are no walls, no extra defenses there. So it was what I tried to do, and it worked to kind of keep him honest. Can I remind him that he still has to defend his core? I have some agents that are... I think I have a treachery mission in progress here. So if it works, I can potentially force march an attack, or at least buy some time. We'll have to see how that works and what becomes of that in the later turns. But that's where we stand at the moment, so quite disputed. I've lost quite a bit in cities in particular, but it hasn't been free in terms of units, and we'll see what kind of counterattacks he mounts. He will probably want to get rid of those annoying pikes. This one will be, well, I will have to disembark 2, maybe 3 swords to deal with it, and then use this one and another one at least to deal with this one, and then try to set up a route chain with cataphracts and all that. So I don't think it's easy, and I don't think I can get wiped here, but we'll see. So see you soon.
Turn 112. So Nolegs has countered and attacked Comus. I am taking this in a turn. Don't see any boats out from him yet, but doubtless he is building some. He's got some longbowmen and some ballistae. We have vision here. Let's repair damage on that city, that's fine. Would like to heal up these boats eventually, but really would like to take this city back. Can heal boats in our friendly borders in a bit here. These guys are actually stranded, they can't get out right now, but that's okay. So I think it's time to swap off of our scholar and go all in for orders on our friend, the Orator. This will also solve a lot of our family issues. Most of these are especially strengths of boats. So I've played this turn. I'm going to now do replay. I abdicate. Actually fixes a lot of issues right away with family. Going to pacify city on this, and then influence the cleric head. I'm influencing the head of the religion right now, this one, and then I'll influence the cleric head later. Don't really want to bother with converting. All right, so now we're going to attack. We're going to use this guy as our route because we gave him Bloodthirsty and he has Horsebane, so he's going to kill. We're going to kill every pikeman we see because they are the threat to our precious horse units. We only have 1 ranged horse unit left, so our swordsmen are really good against his pikemen and his longbowmen. So we definitely want swordsmen. Kill this, pull in one of our good friend elite Libyan cavalry and take the city. that pretty much ends the turn. I think the things to think about here, he could kill this kill. I think it's going to be very hard for him to kill that unit. 10 strength is 10 strength after all. He does not have Holy War, I believe. Man, tooltips on laws are a giant pain. Legal Code, Professional Army, Trade League. So don't see Holy War. You can check he does have Swordsman, so he has cohorts. I don't see any cities that have horse. So yeah, I don't know that he has it yet, but we are getting pikemen in case he gets cataphracts, so we can answer for it. The question is whether we swap off inquiry and go for decree or finish this inquiry. We're still our previous ruler here as well. I think I probably want to finish the inquiry while I have a very good scholar. She's not going to be around forever. And then we can just do decrees later. So a bit of force marching there, but feeling pretty good about that. We'll need to keel boats later. Getting Orator gives us a bunch of extra orders. This family is largely Mankian. I don't have civics to convert religion as much as I'd like to. They're very far away from being Jewish, so probably just better to influence here. That'll give me 40 for the head of religion and then 40 for clerics, which will bump these guys over, though I don't have too many cleric military units anyway, so it's okay. These are the big ones to have super friendly families with. Ended up getting these nets, which I probably should have gone long ago. They're 50 gold each. No point counseling there. I don't really need the civics right now. Not going to be rushing anything. And then build-wise, getting double cataphract and a Kushite cavalry. So we will see how he responds. Also, I started a great Zig here, continuing my plan of locking in as many wonders as I can to try to get towards point victory. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wonders under construction. That's 10 points. That'll take me to 55. And then here, if we look at cities by city production rate, I guess, actually want to sort by turns until, let's see, 30 years, 22 years, 18 years, 60 years, 70 years. So many cities have a long way to go. They're not there yet, but definitely the wonders will help. Hanging Gardens, Necropolis. I picked Ziggurat just because it's easiest to get. So yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on him. He's going to be behind, and we're taking the city back, taking the city. So she's an Equestrian Orator. That's another reason to get mountain units. 100 XP, 50 XP for everyone. Camps and nets, that's another reason to get that with the output. Extravagant kind of sucks. Otherwise, we're fine. And yeah, I've abdicated the throne. I think it is the correct play. I really need orders right now, more than anything else for fighting. I have so many military units. So yeah, we are going to go here, and then we can potentially sea invade here once we heal up our ships. I don't think I need another Dromon. It's going to be hard for him to get critical mass of Dromons. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. How many Dromons do I have? I have somewhere around. I have 13 Dromons, I believe. Let's see, water units. Yeah, 13. So that's it's going to be hard for him to get out Dromons, even if he builds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a turn, which is not feasible right now. I don't think he has the wood for it. Let's see. What's his wood look like? He does have wood for a Dromon. Seems to be mostly okay for everything. Okay, so yeah, we are probably need to assign some generals at some point. I think the influence of the direct play is Orator because it gets me a lot of extra orders from all those sweet, sweet cities. So that'll be 12 more orders from getting clerics up and friendly. So, all right, let's go ahead and see how Noleg responds. Turn 113. Nolegs has attacked Aspadana. I foolishly left a injured statesman, injured swordsman in the city, and he killed it with this amphibious dromon, which is really unfortunate. At the same time, he's attacked here with some katas. I don't have walls in either of these cities, which is an oversight on my part. Definitely should have gotten walls. It's at risk of falling. I think I'm okay, though. So I played out this turn, and I'm essentially going to... the bigger issue right now is that he has anchored this ship, and I have no way to kill this ship because I don't have enough to force march. Probably should have rallied last turn. I think I didn't have civics to do it. But he could invade on this island, and he's paused capturing there. This city's one tile away from capturing, so yeah, let's go ahead and advance. We'll go for infantry square because we want to get pikemen to eliminate against his horses. I'll move the stronger swordsman there and then sort of dance around there a little bit. Get that guy out of the city. Force march one of my katas from Comus down here. Attack with it. Force march another kata down there. Now I have one more force march left. I'm going to rush out a kata out of Kiss. And move a kata down here and heal it. Just have it in operation theater and move the strongest swordsman there in case he tries to do something fancy with force march on that city. I don't expect he would. I'm going to use my fire ship, force march this one, which has fire ship, and move that out. It shouldn't die, just because it has 13 hit points. It will die. It can die to 5 shots from longbows. That's okay. I needed to break that, and I have one more fire ship in reserve. Meanwhile, I will come in here with a bunch of other ships from there, attack and kill, and then wall in that ship so it can't escape, and then just position ships around here, getting everyone in range. I should flip this city, which means I'll be able to heal there instead of an anchor, just so I have a connection to that island again. Set on our anchor, and that's pretty much it. Then just go through events and do cities very quickly. That's the turn. So tense still. I did rush a cataphract out here with orders, so that took up some orders. I have 13 dromons still. Soon, once this city captures and this city captures, I will not need any of those anchoring dromons, and everyone will be free. Potentially can threaten an attack here. We'll need to eventually eliminate these forces. Can't really threaten there yet, but potentially could soon. Should be able to chew through very straightforwardly. And the cataphract should be able to deal with this. That would deal 4 damage to it, 4 damage, and 5 damage to a 19-point cataphract. So that's 13 points. So unless he force marches someone else over at a very long distance, and we are on double fatigue, so there is a limit to how far he can force march. And yeah, we're getting some Kushites, and we are getting a cataphract here. And we'll have infantry square in the while, probably our last inquiry for a bit, and we're going to switch to decree. Didn't really do the greatest job. Civics pumping here, only have 1 elder monk, and never got any scribes, so probably should at that point, in theory, could move this over as well. But yeah, no, I wish I could have to. I need 120, or I think, yeah, I need 120 civics for 1 turn decrees. So I don't think I have 120, so I'll just have to deal with 2 turn decrees. Nothing you can do about that. Otherwise, everyone's in range. I definitely want to get these guys up to happiness a bit. Minus 45 from citizens, so we'll need to fix that. And potentially we'll try converting these folks with our head of Judaism, who's unfortunately also our chancellor. So that's very awkward, but nothing that can be done there about that. So somewhat of a tense turn. Don't have anything I can rush with here. Actually, I could rush out this Kushite with gold. That might not be a terrible idea. Gives me a ranged unit to attack with, which is kind of valuable. And arguably, I could have rushed this with gold as well, but did not. Anything else that is doable? This needs to repair. This, we could potentially rush out a Kata with gold here. $1,200. Can rush out a Kata there with gold as well. So gets me another Kata. Kushite Kata. Nothing else really in range. Maybe this guy. Can I get another Kata in here? 1,200. Yep, and a third. That's probably the limit of what I can rush out for now. So getting a bunch more katas, and this will have water movement to be able to bring folks to the front. And his pikemen are mostly dead, I think. So yeah, really wish I had settled this city so that I could merge these borders, but what can you do? We'll just have to keep a boat there forever. This guy's going to heal up here. He does have vision there. It'll be hard for him to move there. I can threaten here. Probably will need to just sea landing and deal with this at some point. That probably will end game. He's going to have some more Dromons out, but I've trapped this Dromon and killed that Dromon. Going to deny him critical mass of Dromons here. These guys should heal up once I take this city. And I think that's about it. So we'll see you next turn.
So turn 114, it's been some time since I recorded a game, since we had kind of a pause in our game with alcaras due to travels and all that. So quite a few things happened. Unfortunately, I forgot when we resumed our game to record the previous turn. So alcaras retreated, attacked my island city and this one, which he correctly identified as essential to my ability to project threats over the sea. And he correctly identified that I forced march quite a few units to put back a threat on Comis, which I retook, and last turn, so the previous turn, the one I didn't record, he came back and attacked the city, wiped 7 of my units, I think, which was quite painful. So I had beginning of this turn 2 cataphract archers, highly promoted, but only 2, and a camel archer, promoted as well, around, and couldn't do much here. I couldn't project. Well, my cavalry unit can go pretty far so long as I can force march, but only my cavalry units can do that. I also produced a few more Dromons, killed the swordsman that was standing in the city center, so delayed the capture by 1 more turn and anchored another ship here. But he managed to push back the ship with a fire ship of his own, and prevent me from disembarking and taking back the island. So of course his units here were stranded, so it's at least a swordsman killed. I managed to clean up 2 of his Dromons that were standing here and there, with using the firepower of my marksmen, longbowmen, and all that. Well, they do pitiful damage against Dromons, but still that was useful. I'll have 2 more Dromons next turn. So I lost one of them, produced a new one. I rushed another one in Nishapur. Another one will be coming out of Parsa, and one of Samarkand in 2 turns. I'll be happy to be able to rush again. I recaptured this city a few turns ago, you remember, I'm sure. So this turn also I continued to ferry some units toward the front, although I expect that alcaras know that the bulk of my forces has been cleared from here, and he doesn't have to fear that I bring them back. We'll probably go back for my core, So I expect I won't be left alone for long. And goals are contributing. These bands of idiots. But I still have decent production of units in my core. It's a bit painful for me to be producing ships though, because I will need to defend here. And when I say decent protection, it's to hide the fact that I don't have decent standing army. I have some stuff, but not enough to deal with a concerted assault. So there would be some tempo effects. He's not anchored near, he's anchored near my coast, but not in reach of my coast quite yet. So I would have at least one more turn for him to anchor and to rejoin the fight. And it would probably be wise from him to try to finish off some of my Dromons. So he retreated with the most Earth one, which I bombarded before, and is probably going to heal them and maintain his supply line, which is not quite as comfortable as the one I had, because I had the island. But there you go. So last turn I retreated both all my units, I think, no, 3 Cataphract Archers and a Camel Archer, and deeply threatened this frontline city, which is about to complete Cataphracts. It had 4 turns on it. I had an agent who unfortunately died in the meantime. And well, this is not as important as it looks, unfortunately, but I had an agent and triggered treachery, so I was able to capture, with the remnant of my previous attack, his rider seat. So that still, I still cancelled the Kushite cavalry and all that good stuff. Apparently he's learning his lessons on making walls now, so we'll see about that. Unfortunately, of course, even highly promoted as they are, these units are harassers, essentially. They won't be able to do enough damage, so apparently alcaras has rallied his morale. I think I surprised him a few times, and it maybe had an oversized impact on his confidence in the game, I suspect, because he's had an advantage for quite some time. So we'll see what it becomes. Here this city is mostly a roadblock. This one has towers. This one unfortunately isn't fortified anymore, since it was captured and recaptured, so it will be tough to defend. If it can produce a few Dromons and be a roadblock, that will be good. Hopefully I'll reach Barding soon. Probably in 3 turns though, because I just got still research mission to complete, so it won't be before. Well, it says 2 turns, but essentially it will arrive on the turn Barding completes. And I'm really not set up to make the most of it, because I don't have many cities that can produce mounted units. Not that many horses, simply. So I will be able to rush a few from here, rush some from here, if only I'm developing at that point. That's not even a given. This city is still autonomous, which is a pain in my backside, but there you go. Hopefully I will be able to harass a little bit his Roman's attack and disrupt his supply a bit. But he has probably over 10 Romans still, even if I eliminated a few, hurt a few, things like that. So that will not be an easy thing. I keep some visibility around, and regularly I move out and back in to check what's happening. So I don't know where he is of my my vision up north, but yeah, so that's where we are. I still haven't adopted Holy War, because I'm trying to hide a little bit Barding coming. I would get a benefit from Holy War. A free promotion is not nothing, even if I'm not using it to buy units out. But I really need it. Like 3 turns is already an eternity. I would have wanted it 10 turns ago. You only had like 1 or 2 cataphracts, but now the number is growing. That's already 4. I know 1 is coming in a few turns here. This city I captured, thankfully, but there are probably some more. Okay, at least there's no horses here, and let me check his laws. Yes, he has autarky, so he doesn't need horses to produce cataphracts anyway. It's probably hurting a bit for food because the game hasn't been overly generous, but that's where we are. I have no doubt that he will be putting all stops to get more. Well, the cataphracts are the game ender unit. They are intentionally that way. So yeah, if someone is coming at you with them, you need to have cataphracts, or you need to be very close to them and just have to hold a little bit. But I'm not sure. With 4 cataphracts already, it's already a lot. His swords are nothing to be trifled with. I have some of my own swords, but nowhere near enough to contend. So we'll have to see. And I'm losing the logistics advantage I had at one point. Of course, naval movement is super great with cities, but the mobility of units, of winning the sea battle, is definitely more decisive. So that's where we stand. Super interesting game. Start wonders just for the VPs, I suspect. Partly Ishtar Gate and Lighthouse are getting built. The Ishtar Gate, the Great Ziggurat, and the Pantheon in his capital. The Lighthouse is here. We haven't started the Colossus yet. I could theoretically start it, but I don't think I could defend it. So if Tess was strong, I'd probably try it on the Arabian Sea, but I can't at the moment. So yeah, that's where we are. Resumed a little bit as we both lost quite a few units, some worker activity, so I'm slowly working on my ambition, but the only cities that had courthouses and ministries was Parsa, which is getting its palace, but it will be much slower in my other legendary city, and both Pasargadae will probably be my first other legendary city, but we are not there yet, and I'm only completing the courthouse next turn, so it will take some time. But there's an outside chance that I might be able to do something with ambitions, but of course it's not a victory condition anyway. So there you go. That's where we stand in the game. See you soon.